Hello everyone, hope you're doing great today. Appreciate those of you who will be watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. And also appreciate those who have subscribed. Thank you very much. And today we're talking about The Bluebirds, starring Shirley Temple. In my opinion, my humble opinion, I think Shirley Temple is the greatest child actress of all time. Not just actress, I should say, but actor of all time. And this but this movie, The Bluebird, kind of proves my point. She's a little older in this one. She's like 11 years old. Unfortunately for Shirley Temple, though, this is kind of like the beginning of her downfall of her career, I guess. She became less popular after this movie. I don't think it's any fault of her own. Maybe it was just the timing when the movie came out. After all, it's 1941. And then it's a lot like The Wizard of Oz. I'll get a little into that a little bit more. But this movie kind of bombed. And plus, we got a different kind of Shirley Temple in this movie. She's not the happy-go-lucky girl. She's kind of a selfish, self-arrogant girl who doesn't appreciate the things she has. She's kind of very nasty in this movie, to be honest. But she plays the role very well. And I think Shirley Temple is probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, child actors ever. Because she really gets the mannerisms and the facial expressions with the scene that she's in. She's just a terrific actress, and especially in this movie. I remember when I was younger, a lot younger, maybe before I was 5-ish, around that time. I think my mom was a big Shirley Temple fan, and I watched a bunch of Shirley Temple movies. I don't remember what they were called, but I remember watching the movies. So, I was like, well, I haven't seen a Shirley Temple movie in a while. And then this is like the only one on Amazon Prime where I get all my classic movies. And it happened to be on. So this movie is a lot like The Wizard of Oz. Shirley Temple, if you didn't know, was up for that role, but went to Judy Garland. From what I've read, I do like 5 seconds of research sometimes on these reviews. Shirley Temple did get the role for either one or two reasons. One reason could have been that her studio wouldn't give the studio that did Wizard of Oz the permission to have her do it. And then the second reason is that she didn't have the voice for the role of Dorothy in that movie, and that's why she didn't get it. It could have been a mixture of both, but I think it's probably, I would say probably a little bit both. Who knows? But I guess up to a very long time, Shirley Temple never got over not getting the role of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And so this is kind of like Shirley Temple's Wizard of Oz. So let's get into The Bluebird, 3 minutes into this video. Hopefully you're still hanging out with me. So The Bluebird, like I said, Shirley Temple's this arrogant kid who's not grateful for anything. She captures this bird at the beginning of the movie. She wants to give it to, she kind of shows it off to the sick girl who wants to have it so she can feel better. I mean, I can understand Shirley Temple's character not wanting to give her the bird, but she kind of is really nasty to the little girl, and she's nasty to her parents. And so she kind of goes to sleep, and when she wakes up, as you see in the background right now, the movie's in black and white. When she wakes up from this dream, we're watching everything in color. But unlike The Wizard of Oz, which is really bright and like, a happy feeling type of color, this color in this movie is very dull. It's kind of depressing. I mean, it's almost more depressing than when it was in black and white, to be honest. But there's a lot, like that's one of the similarities between The Wizard of Oz and The Bluebird. Another one is we have a character here in this one, a fantasy character called the Light. She's a lot like Glinda the Witch of Wizard of Oz. I think she has blonde hair, and because she's light, she's very bright, and she's kind of like somebody to light the way for Shirley Temple's character. Her dog and her cat becomes human. The dog is very, man's best friend, while the cat is kind of like the Wicked Witch in a way. It's always trying to sabotage Shirley Temple's journey as they're trying to find this mystical blue bird. And she's always kind of put up obstacles. The movie does got a lot of good themes in it, though. I will have to say that much. But overall, The Bluebird is kind of like a poor man's The Wizard of Oz, unfortunately, for Shirley Temple. Like I said, this movie did bomb. Critics were calling her the youngest has-been ever. And like I said, could have been the time periods, 1941. You got World War II going on. Plus, unlike the Great Depression, where Shirley Temple was this young kid who was like a happy-go-lucky, somebody brought a smile to your face. In this movie, she's very, almost unbearable. She's very unbearable. Her character is throughout probably 98% of the movie. So like I said, this has some good themes in this movie. One thing is like luxury. There's a family called a luxury family. Her family's very poor. She was always wanting the nice things, and then she gets her and her brother gets adopted into this luxury family, which you got to think of today how luxury is kind of like a trapping for people, and that's how it is for this luxury family. Have the best of everything that's for that time period, like the luxuries of that time period for that family. Kind of like in our day, we have luxuries here. The TV's a luxury, a watch, I guess. Cell phones is a luxury, but it's starting to be a necessity. Probably more of a necessity than it is now than it was before. But me having this video, being able to do videos on my iPhone. Yes, I do use my iPhone for my videos. That's probably why my video quality's not very good. But I watch movies on my phone. That stuff is a luxury. That is a trapping from keeping you away from maybe doing things that you should be doing. And you have that life lesson in this one. You also have a little message about deforesting. You got her family's lumberjacks, basically, I guess. Try to put it in our terms here. They use a different word for them. But, they cut down trees. So you got that, like the dangers of deforesting, cutting down all the trees. You got a little bit of that going on in here. And then you have like the pre-mortal life, the life before we came to Earth, before we were born. I felt like that was kind of interesting part of this movie because all these kids in this pre-mortal life, pre-Earth life, whatever you want to call it, are like very anxious. They really want to be born. They really want to be born. They're excited to be born in this world. And except for one, a man and a girl, and they're kind of like girlfriend and boyfriend up there. They really love each other, and they can't bear to be separated. So it kind of touches upon, how people say they found their soulmates and stuff like that. I say stuff like that, but they're soulmates. That's kind of like, I guess they're going to be soulmates. And then you find other famous historical figures up there. I think you run into like an Abraham Lincoln, maybe a Thomas Edison's up there, just very briefly. So you see these historical figures. And then, of course, at the end, she wakes up and, she really realizes everything's a dream, but she kind of learned her lesson, that she should be grateful for what she has, and then they find the great blue bird. Overall, it's not the best Shirley Temple movie, but I enjoyed it, I guess. I would recommend this one. I mean, if you've never seen a Shirley Temple movie, it's good. It's not your typical Shirley Temple, like I mentioned. She does sing. She has a good voice. She only sings like one song, so it's not really a musical. But it's not, like I said, it's not your typical Shirley Temple movie. But it is a different Shirley Temple movie. I would like to see, I would like to see Shirley Temple in her 20s. I think she retired, quit acting when she was, early 20s. I've never seen an early 20s Shirley Temple on the screen, a movie. I would like to see that one if I ever get the chance to. And maybe I'd like to revisit one where she was younger in her younger years. Because I don't really, like I said, I saw those when I was really young. I was like 4 or 5. I remember watching them, but I don't really remember what they were about, anything like that. But it was nice, revisiting a Shirley Temple movie. If you've ever seen a Shirley Temple movie, and this is the only one you can find, it's a good movie to watch. You tell, as soon as you watch it, if you've seen The Wizard of Oz, you realize that this is kind of like Shirley Temple's Wizard of Oz. Unfortunately for her, it's, like I said, a poor man's version of Wizard of Oz. I don't know. Do you guys think she would have been a good Dorothy? I mean, she's really young in this one, but I guess everybody complained that Judy Garland was too old when she did Wizard of Oz. And I don't really know what Shirley Temple's voice range was at this time period, if she really could carry out the songs that were in Wizard of Oz. Maybe not. But I think she would have done a pretty good job as a Dorothy. But who knows? Thank you for staying with me. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you're having a great day, and catch me around some other time. Bye.